Lamborghinis and they rented hummus. The party's on, so they're heading downtown. Everybody's looking for a come up, and they wanna know what you're about. Me in the middle with the one I'm loving. We're just trying to figure everything out. We don't fit in well, cause we are just ourselves. I could use some help getting out of this conversation. Yeah, you look stunning, dear, so don't ask that question here. This is my only fear, that we become beautiful people. Top designer clothes, front row at fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know? Inside the world of beautiful people. Champagne and rolled up nose, prenups and broken homes. Surrounded but still alone. Let's leave the party. That's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Yeah, that's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Drove for hours last night and we made it nowhere. Now I see stars in your eyes when we're halfway there. Now I'm not fazed by all the lights and flashy cameras, cause with my arms around you, there's no need to care. We don't fit in well, we are just ourselves. I could use some help getting out of this conversation here. You look stunning, please, so don't ask that question here. This is my only fear, that we become beautiful people. Top designer clothes, front row at fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know? Inside the world of beautiful people. Champagne and rolled up nose, prenups and broken homes. Surrounded but still alone. Let's leave the party. That's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Yeah, that's not who we are. We are not beautiful. We are not beautiful. I'm losing my self-control. Yeah, you're starting to trickle back in, but I don't wanna fall down the rabbit hole. Cross my heart, I won't do it again. I tell myself, draw the line. And I do, but once in a while I trip up and I cross the line. And I think of you. 2 years and just like that, my head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess, but wasn't it the best? Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again. I guess I could try hypnotherapy. I gotta rewire this brain, cause I can't even go on the internet without even checking your name. I tell myself, draw the line. And I do, but once in a while I trip up and I cross the line. I think of you. 2 years and just like that, my head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess, but wasn't it the best? Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I have to get over you all over again. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over
My head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but I guess it's never really over. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I'll have to get over you all over again. And I'll have to get over you all over again. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe you'll be coming over again. And I'll have to get over you all over again. Over you all over again. Thought we kissed goodbye. Thought we met this time was the last, but I guess it's never really over. Thought we drew the line right through you, and I can't keep going back. I guess it's never really over. Some saw it as a mystery. Hair I was whipping round. So high up, got my chin up. I don't care if I ever come down. I don't care if I ever come down. Some saw it as a mystery, running with the crazy crowd. I'm climbing, going higher. I don't care if I ever come down. I don't care if I ever come down. I don't care if I ever come down. Some saw me as a mystery. Hair I was whipping round. So high up, got my chin up. I don't care if I ever come down. I don't care if I ever come down.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. Welcome to our annual staff and faculty meeting. We know you have all been looking forward to this all through the season. It's your favorite time of the year, so you're welcome. Here we are. I hope you're all enjoying your lunch. Thank you to Food Services for that, and you're enjoying them alone in your offices. Thank you, COVID-19, for that as well. We're so glad you joined us today and hope to provide a lot of great information for you as we prepare for this next semester. Like everything else in the world, we'll be doing this a little bit differently this year with a virtual version of our meeting. There will be a mix of pre-recorded videos, live engagement, surprise giveaways, games throughout the meeting, so please stay tuned. We promise you this will be worth your time. It's really the only time all year that all of us get together. And so pay attention and stay with us. Again, people will be coming into your offices possibly, so look alive. There will be 2 20-minute question and answer sessions. We received a lot of questions throughout the week. Thank you for those that submitted. However, we also encourage you to submit additional questions as things pop up. If you'd like clarification or more insight, please put those questions inside the YouTube comment section, and we'll get to as many of those as we can. Again, we will be doing several prizes and giveaways throughout, so make sure you are watching for those, and thanks for all those who helped and donated prizes for that. So here we are. We would like to welcome all of you. We'd like to welcome our panel, and particularly President Williams. But before we get to him, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about him. A few little fun facts. He did grow up in Brigham City. He has been called Biff his entire life, but he is also referred to as Buff, depending on the news outlets. True story. So he enjoys running at the crack of dawn. He enjoys sweeping and vacuuming the floor and eating frozen turkey sandwiches for lunch. All true stories. Ask him about it. He received his BS in Lifestyle and Management from Weber State, his Master's of Athletic Training from Indiana State, his PhD in Curriculum and Instruction from New Mexico. But he doesn't know this. I believe he's also expected to get an honorary doctorate in crisis communication by the end of the year. So we're excited for that. He has a passion about serving students, building programs, building buildings, and he enjoys slaughtering everyone each year during the STEP Challenge. So with that, please welcome President Richard Biff Williams.
Thank you, Jordan, and welcome everybody, and good afternoon. Happy New Year to 2021. We're grateful that all of you are joining us. We appreciate that you're taking the time in your offices and that you're staying safe. We appreciate especially those that have made this possible. A lot of work has gone into making this possible. I just want to thank a few of those before we get started. I want to thank Jordan Sharp, Megan Church, Shelley Heward, Hannah Hefferon, Matt Black, Alex Santiago, Marcus Farnsworth, and the entire CEC crew for being able to use this technology. And of course, all our presenters and our panelists. You'll see today that they put a lot of time and effort into their presentation, so we can't thank them enough. I also want to thank all of you and begin with that. It's definitely been a challenging year. The global pandemic has not been something that's easy to navigate, but from my chair, watching you and all of us together navigate this, I think we've done really well. I know many of you done a lot of extra work, and I can't thank you enough for that extra work. We were safe this last semester, and I'm really proud of the fact that all the work from our faculty and our staff and administration, we didn't have, through contact tracing, we didn't have any spread in the classroom. And I think that's something that we can all be proud of. And keeping our faculty, our students, and our staff safe is our number one priority. So I can't thank you enough for all the extra work that you've done with that. It was fun to see how we have united together to serve our students. And I have heard back from our students. They have been appreciative of the extra time that you have taken to help them and to serve them, and they have noticed. And so we're looking forward to our next semester. It'll be very similar to last semester, although you'll see a lot more testing of our students. You'll see we'll continue requiring the masks and doing the other things that are required of us. Many of you have asked, when will we receive the vaccine, and when will that be available to us? We're working on that. We're advocating for that. The governor's office has a very large task in prioritizing that. We know that the K through 12 teachers have been put on that priority list. I know the Utah System for Higher Education, as well as presidents, have been advocating for that. What you all could do is make sure you write your legislators and ask them to be one of the top priorities. We believe it will happen. We just know that that's a moving target throughout each semester, and each week it just changes. We do appreciate your patience as COVID-19 and as we have meetings. We have a lot of people asking, well, we need more information. We are distributing that information as quickly as we get it. And so at times we'll receive new information today, and by the end of the day, it's old information and not valid information. And so we will continue to do the weekly emails. If there needs to be additional weekly or additional emails, we'll send those out to you, making sure that you know everything that we know. Even though that we've had this pandemic, a great deal of work has been done, and I can't thank all of you enough. This new strategic plan, Trailblazing Distinction, we designed that and worked on that, and through a pandemic, we worked virtually, and I can't thank Provost LaCourse and the committee enough for all the work that they've done. We're starting to implement that. We're already implementing that plan. Funding has been allocated to that, and we appreciate all those that have been identified as team leaders and initiative leaders and all the things that you're doing for that. Today, you'll be hearing all the great work that's happening. This seems to be a fan favorite where everybody across campus can share what's going on. Our goal is to make sure that you know all the exciting things that are happening on campus. And so if there's something that we miss, we would love to inform you through email or through other means. Today, we also want to, as Jordan mentioned, we want to make this fun, and so there'll be a lot of giveaways. And so I'm honored to be able to give the first giveaway. And they gave me a little sheet of paper that I lost, but this is a Trailblazer swag basket, and I wish I had this, but it has a parking pass in it. And so the person that they pulled out was Victoria Cruel. And so congratulations, Victoria. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll get into the presentation. Woo! So let's get started.
Hello everyone, and Happy New Year. I've been asked to very quickly give you an overview of what's coming up as it relates to the 2021 General Session of the Utah State Legislature. Not unlike 2020, the upcoming year is one that comes with a fair amount of uncertainty. Access to the Capitol will be somewhat limited, but President Williams and I will be spending plenty of time in Salt Lake working with legislators to advocate for the needs of DSU. I'd like to mention a couple of specific issues that we'll be working on. First, the recommendation of our Board of Trustees and the Utah Board of Higher Education to recommend a name change for DSU. Because the name of our institution is in state statute, any change must be approved by the Utah State Legislature. We are meeting daily with legislators to ensure they understand the process that led to the trustees' decision, as well as the data that backs it up. Ultimately, our priority is the success of our students. Expect to hear more as we move into the session, which begins later this month and ends in early March. Second, I'll highlight some of DSU's budget priorities for fiscal year 2022. Always at the top of the list is cost of living increases for DSU employees. In addition to that, we will be focusing on requests for performance and growth funding. Performance funding is the primary mechanism for state colleges and universities to receive funding, while growth funding is set aside specifically for institutions like ours that are experiencing rapid growth. Finally, we hope to secure funding to purchase over 180 acres of land at Desert Color to build a branch campus to accommodate our growth. Last year, the legislature supported this request, and we hope to finalize it this session. President Williams will keep you apprised of our progress on each of these items throughout the session through his weekly campus email updates. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions or concerns. Go Trailblazers.
Whilst 2020 has certainly been a challenge, it has been a wonderful year for Dixie State Athletics. The virus certainly played a huge role in our fall semester, but it hasn't slowed us down. Over the summer, we successfully applied and received approval from the NCAA to begin our first year in Division I as part of the Western Athletic Conference. While we had to postpone fall sports competitions until the spring, our teams were still able to practice and prepare while maintaining safety protocols and procedures. Our athletic trainers and medical staff are to be commended and thanked for their Herculean efforts this fall with all the necessary COVID testing amid the constant changes and adjustments to requirements and procedures. Our student athletes, coaches, and staff are also to be applauded as they endured a lot of disruption as well. However, once we were able to finally start competing, our women's swim team marked our first ever D1 competition when they raced at BYU on November 7th. And then, in an awesome night in the Burns Arena in our first ever home event, the men's basketball team beat North Dakota to earn our first ever D1 team win. So we are now poised for and ready for a huge 2021. Pretty soon this semester, you'll see the next phase of renovations at Greater Zion Stadium begin, and then shortly after that, the renovations at the old fitness center will finish up and we'll open the new Sports Medicine Center, which will be a tremendous asset for our student athletes today and long into the future. We will also be welcoming a new class into our Athletics Hall of Fame and hosting a virtual induction ceremony to honor the following new members: Jodan Duncan, football; Anna Quay Duncan, softball; George Staley, football; Archie Amerson, football;
Zach Robbins, basketball.
and Jonna Brown, who played both softball and women's basketball. Congratulations to our newest members. Also this spring, of course, we'll be competing. All 15 of our sports will be competing at the same time in what promises to be an incredibly busy semester. So if we all seem tired and exhausted, we probably are, but it'll be well worth it and a lot of fun. We are ready to get back into action, and we look forward to seeing you at the games. This is, of course, if the virus allows us. We will be hosting on campus 3 football, 10 men's basketball, 9 women's basketball, 8 volleyball, 5 men's soccer, 8 women's soccer, 24 baseball, and 20 softball games, plus a couple golf tournaments, and even the WAC Swimming Conference Championships, which will be a tremendous opportunity for our team to compete and showcase the HPC to the conference. In fact, in February and March, there are only 11 days that we do not have an event here on campus. So, needless to say, it will be busy. But there will be plenty of opportunities for you to come support the Trailblazers, as we are hopeful to be able to loosen the attendance restrictions for all of these sports in the spring compared to what we currently have in place for basketball. Of course, assuming that we can do it in a safe manner for everyone. So, we are very excited for 2021 and what lies ahead for our teams. As always, thank you so much for your incredible support of our student athletes. Go Trailblazers.
Equity, diversity, and inclusion, also known as EDI, was the unofficial theme for 2020. From the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, the 50th anniversary of LGBT+ Pride Month, the elevation of Juneteenth celebration, the transition of Senator John Lewis and Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and the 100th anniversary of the women's suffragists, the acknowledgement for women's voter rights. When we're finally able to enjoy sports again, it began with the NBA, and a decision to sit out and protest occurred. The Mississippi State flag, the last flag to feature the Confederate battle emblem, was retired. And finally, the 2020 election. On our own beloved DSU campus, we were engaged in conversations about our own future on EDI. The release of our recent strategic plan, Trailblazing Distinction, Open, Inclusive, Comprehensive Polytechnic, speaks to ongoing conversations and the motivation to serve as an example for others. Our student athletes marched for social justice and held voter registration drives, and we challenged ourselves to answer this question: what does the next 10 years look like for our campus and our community? It is an answer we will continue to ponder for years to come. However, in 2021, it will be the year of resilience. EDI remains to be central to our mission statement and to our commitment to our students and to each other. As the year moves forward, there will be a number of events, workshops, lectures, and initiatives to employ resilience on our campus and practice inclusion. We invite you to be resilient. To be mindful, resilience is the ability to recover from and adjust easily to change. We are open and inclusive, and we are resilient. That is the Trailblazer way.
Hello, I'm Hazel Sainsbury, Director of Equity Compliance and Title IX Coordinator here at the university. My office is located within the Office of the General Counsel here at DSU. My role is to help foster an environment of respect and dignity, free of harassment and discrimination. This also means ensuring equal access to all members of our campus community, regardless of who you are or where you come from. You've probably already taken some Safe Colleges training related to discrimination and sexual harassment this semester. University Title IX federal laws were updated across the country this year, effective August 14th, 2020. So it's important that you familiarize yourself with these changes. Our office has worked tirelessly to ensure compliance with these new mandates. So if you haven't gotten around to taking your required campus training, please do so. It's important to your safety. Among many other accolades, DSU was recognized as one of the safest college campuses in the country. We only get this type of recognition through our collective efforts and collaboration as an institution. So thank you for reporting. Our campus belongs to all of us, so if you ever see anything that is a cause for concern, please don't hesitate to report your concern, even if you're unclear about the nature of the incident. Our campus safety administrators will ensure it's addressed in the appropriate office. If you or someone you know is facing sexual harassment, discrimination, or any other form of abuse, please report this behavior to the Office of Equity Compliance in Title IX. You can give me a call, email, visit my office, or file an incident report at title9.dixie.edu. Although we're experiencing unique and non-traditional challenges this year, making our campus a safe and hospitable place remains our priority. Whether you're here to learn, work, or participate in some of our community initiatives, maintaining a safe and inclusive environment is a shared responsibility. So when in doubt, please report. Stay safe and happy trailblazing.
All right, thank you, President, members of Cabinet, and others who do so much for our university. We're so grateful for all you do. All right, you guys, it's time to win a few more prizes. So right now you're going to want to get your keyboards out because you're going to have to use your keyboards to put in the answers. We're going to play what we like to call Trailblazer Trivia. So basically, on your screen, we will see 5 questions of various things across campus and different things from our history. And the first to answer will be the first to put in the chat, and we will bring these prizes around to you. So here we go, Trailblazer Trivia. Number 1, who is this famous DSU alumnus? Look at this fine gentleman. Who is this guy? He has a notable history and is of immense importance to us all. Who is this famous alumnus? Oh, number 2. Name that DSU employee. Is it her? Is it him? Is it both? Who knows? Look closely. Who is that? All right, for this next question, we are going to play a clip. Pay attention, and we'll do the question right after. But how do you fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool? All right, so the question here is, how long did it take to fill the Olympic-sized swimming pool? How long did it take once it was finished, hooked up the hydrants? How many days, weeks, hours? How long did it take? All right, next, name that DSU employee. You know her, you love her. She's a staple here and has been for some time. Who is this lady? All right, next question. We will ask a question based on a small portion of this clip. So pay attention and we will ask the question.
Today, the students, faculty, and alumni of Dixie State University blaze trails worldwide. In athletics, science, technology, business, the arts, and more.
Oh, go back, please. Student body president and current DSU employee leaped her way into our hearts during that video. Hope you had to be paying close attention but I'll give you a clue. Which former student body presidents could leap? Very well. I don't know. There's a few that are already off the list to me. Although, I don't know, Matt DeVore, he can jump. So he's still in there. All right, which former student body president leaped into our hearts? All right, now, it is time to tell you who are our winners. So, number one, with Samuel Brooks. I hope you all know the story of Samuel Brooks. He was the student who laid on the steps to be the first to sign up for classes. And the winner is Brooke Sullivan. We would expect nothing less from you, Brooke. So glad you got that. Next question, name that DSU employee. That is correct. It's our very own Vice President, Dale Beatty. Look at that head of hair on both of them. And the winner for this one is Mr. Dylan McKinney. Way to go, Dylan, over there in the Student Center. We love him. He does so much for all of us. Next, how many days did it take to fill the pool? It was 3 days, 3 full days to fill the pool. And the winner of that was Alice Roach. Nice work, Alice. You were in there helping. Maybe you put a few buckets in yourself. I'm not sure. Next. Who is this lovely lady? Sheila Bastian, Executive Assistant to the Provost. Sheila's been here a long time and we're sure grateful for all she does. The winner of this one was Wendy Bulkley. Wendy, congratulations. And last but definitely not least, who leaped into our hearts but Sarah Raymaker. She works now in student involvement and leadership. We're so happy to have her back. And she was a finalist several times for Performer of the Year while she was student, and now she's here helping our students. So congratulations, Sarah and Tyson. Oh, who won? Yeah, hello. Yeah, Tyson, Pulsifer, won. Thank you, Tyson. All right, well, keep paying attention. There's more where that came from. We will hear what's happening next in administrative affairs, but first, let's learn a little bit more about our own Vice President, Vice President Morris. Paul, you may not know this, but he was once a Thunderbird, but we don't hold that against him. But there was one beautiful day he was driving through campus and driving around St. George, and he had a vision of new buildings dotting the landscape. So he repented of his prior transgressions and he joined Trailblazer Nation. He loves his convertible, fixing old cars, strolling campus to look for new projects, and as the money man for DSU, he is everyone's best friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vice President Paul Morris.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Morris, the Vice President for Administrative Affairs. Administrative Affairs has been working very hard to help Dixie State to be successful in all we're trying to accomplish. In fact, so many great things have been accomplished that I was not able to spotlight just a few. So let me quickly tell you of the many great accomplishments. Seth Gubler and all of Auxiliary Services have worked hard to maintain all services to students, faculty, and staff in spite of COVID-19. Student housing had 100% occupancy at the beginning of fall semester, and the campus store remained profitable. Although our sales are way down in dining services, we have worked hard to keep the venues open and operational. Bryant Flake has worked hard to manage the Institutional CARES Act funding by making sure DSU is compliant in how the funds have been used and by allocating the funds across campus to help mitigate COVID-19. Additionally, Bryant has navigated state budget cuts, identified trouble budgets, and provided plans to keep the institution financially sound. So far, DSU has not missed a financial beat. Scott Jensen and Business Services worked very hard this year to complete DSU's financial statements early. In fact, DSU was one of the first schools audited and received a clean opinion. This year, DSU is the first of all the state's colleges and universities to issue financial statements. Jackie Freeman, DSU's long-standing purchasing director, will be retiring in the upcoming year. I'd like to publicly thank Jackie for her excellent service to DSU. We will be welcoming Brett Whitelaw as the new purchasing director on January 16th. Brett comes to us from the city of St. George and will be instrumental in leading DSU's purchasing efforts into the future. Josh Thane and the Event Services and Risk Management team have worked hard to help campus manage COVID-19. Josh has spearheaded institutional planning by determining proper distancing and occupancy levels for all of DSU's venues and classrooms. Additionally, Josh has worked hard to help plan and administrate testing for students, faculty, and staff. Sherry Roosh and the facilities management team have been very busy building and remodeling buildings. Without doubt, there is significantly more building square footage under construction than at any point in DSU's history. Currently, we are building the new Science, Technology, and Engineering building, 534 additional beds at Campus View Suites, and are in the final stages of design for the Stadium West Grandstand expansion. As far as remodels, the new Athletic Training Building, Gardner Center Vice President Suite, Taylor DSU Dental Hygiene, and the U of U School of Dentistry Dental Suite are at various stages of completion. The DSU campus is becoming more and more amazing every year. More to come on the building projects. Blair Barfus and the public safety team have formed a complete and new identity for DSU's police force. DSU is the state's only accredited police force. This year, Chief Barfus took responsibility for the Clery Act compliance at DSU and has brought our program to a new level. Under his supervision, a new Clery policy was approved, more accurate reporting procedures are in place, and a new training video was offered to campus. Travis Rosenberg and the Human Resource team have worked hard to help DSU employees navigate COVID-19. From the creation of a work policy, never-ending contact tracing calls, to daily questions about self-isolation, quarantine, and returning to work, the HR team has been very busy. Andrew Goebel and the IT staff have worked very hard to install AV cameras and microphones in nearly every classroom across campus. The majority of these installations were done in the summer and ready for use fall semester. This was a mammoth task. With a short deadline, and IT made it happen. Mike Pinniger and the internal audit staff continually work behind the scenes to ensure that DSU's internal control and financial procedures safeguard the university's assets and finances. Now let's turn our attention to the DSU budget and finances. I get many questions about the institutional budget, such as how is DSU doing financially? Is my job safe? And what can I do to help DSU continue to be financially stable? Well, DSU's education and general budget has been very resilient and stable during COVID-19. DSU's portion of a $1.1 million state budget cut has been offset by additional tuition collections from enrollment growth, thus keeping DSU's budget balanced. DSU's cash balances are healthy and consistent with point-in-time balances of prior years. DSU's revenues and expenses are within budgets and all is going well. We have had some challenges in the budgets. Dining services and the Rhodes Scholar program have been the most impacted by COVID-19. What can you do to help DSU stay financially healthy? Help recruit new students to come to DSU. Help retain current students and put students first in all you do. We have minimized the impact of COVID-19 across the DSU campus, and facilities construction is no exception. Shortly we'll start construction of the third major building project this year. There has never been a year with more construction on campus than this year. Campus View Suites Phase 2 is under construction. It's 534 beds. It has larger bedrooms and common areas, full-size beds in the private rooms, and will include 80 new parking stalls adjacent to the building. It will be finished in summer of 2021. The Science, Engineering, and Technology building will include state-of-the-art labs and classrooms, food services venue, beautiful dean suite, and faculty offices. Completion early summer 2021. The set is a multi-phase plan that includes demolition of the Performance Arts building. That's complete. Completion of the set building. That's approximately 50% complete at this point. Remodel of the new education building in fall of 2021. Demolition of the WeDo in summer 2022, and construction of 140 new parking stalls on the WeDo site. The West Side Stadium expansion will include a high-rise building behind the West Grandstand, sponsor boxes, suites, donor relations space, loge seating, a hosting commons area, and new men's and women's restroom. Construction will begin in April of 2021 and be complete for commencement in 2022. The Event Center exterior refresh. Please don't be upset, but the end of Pepto-Bismol on campus is near. This will include a repaint of the exterior of all the buildings. It will add a champagne-colored metal cap to the buildings to give them balance and break up flat surfaces. There will be multiple colors on the same buildings and differing colors among the buildings. The Athletic Training Center is being remodeled, and it is the old recreation building. It includes removal of the old swimming pool, creation of additional parking and linking of the ROTC building and Smith Computer Center parking lots. The state-of-the-art athletic training spaces will include a HydroWorks aquatic therapy and fitness equipment. It will be a partnership with Intermountain Healthcare to provide services. The DSU Dental Hygiene and University of Utah School of Dentistry remodel is underway. We have remodeled space in the Taylor Health Sciences building for the DSU University of Utah partnership to provide dental services to underserved populations. The remodeled space includes a new dental computer lab, state-of-the-art dental equipment, chairs, and cabinetry, a state-of-the-art dental cleaning and sanitation station, and a shared waiting room space. If you haven't seen it, there's new Jumbotron in the Burns Arena and a video scoreboard in Greater Stallion Stadium. The DSU Women's Volleyball locker room has had an amazing transformation. Now we are proud to show the new recruits the locker room. There will be many new parking lots across campus over the next 2 years. There will be a new parking lot on the recreation softball field that will include 320 new stalls. We'll install turf in the baseball field to accommodate the recreation softball program. There'll be a new parking lot on the north side of Atwood Innovation Plaza that will include 180 stalls. There'll be a new parking lot near Campus View Suites Phase 2 that'll include 80 stalls, and new parking on the WeDo site that'll include 140 new stalls. In total, 720 new stalls will be constructed over the next 2 years. Well, much is being accomplished in administrative affairs. We are excited to continue to do our part to help accomplish the goals of the new strategic plan and to help Dixie State University be the best that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Morris, and all those in administrative affairs who do so much for all of us. What the work you have done the last 5 years is nothing less than miraculous, and we're so grateful. Everything from the custodians to food service people to everyone who makes this institution run. Our thanks goes out to all of you. Now, to all of you paying attention, we have one more game at this time. This will be for everyone in our virtual audience. You are to, this might be a little creepy to you, but look under your chairs in your offices and you will see a sign that says "You win." We got the help, speaking of our great custodians and all those who take care of us, they helped us get into some offices last night. By the way, some of you need to clean up your workspaces. I'm not going to mention names, although I have them. However, look under there, and not to be forgotten, we even got all the way out to the Taylor Health Science. I know you guys are thinking, oh, they didn't come out here. I'm not looking under my chair. Wrong. We got to you as well. So everyone look under your chair, and if you have the sign that says "You won," we will get you those prizes by the end of the day. Our next videos will provide updates regarding academic affairs, but first let's find out a little bit more about our very own provost. Provost, of course, is passionate about snow skiing. You might not know that, him and all his family. He's passionate about his family, but he's really passionate about academic programs. After creating 111 programs in the past 5 years with his team, we're pretty sure Michael doesn't sleep, and we think that he fights crime in the Washington-Kane County areas at night. We've seen it, we have video. But of all the things he has on his agenda for this upcoming year, Provost's top goal, the #1 goal, it was just put into the strategic plan, is that this is the year that faculty will actually beat the staff in the great race. We haven't seen that yet, but we're holding it out. So there it is. Challenge has been thrown down. So with that, please welcome Dr. LaCourse.
On behalf of Academic Affairs, I wish to welcome everyone back for the spring 2021 semester. I know most of us want to forget 2020 as soon as possible, and there are many good reasons to feel that way. But it's also important to recognize and remember that 2020 was a year of extraordinary accomplishment and advancements for the university. In the past 12 months, we completed our 2020 strategic plan that moved us from a university in status to a university with stature. We designed and have already begun implementing a new strategic plan based on a brand new mission and vision for the university that will ultimately distinguish us from all other American colleges and universities. We successfully completed the reaffirmation of our regional accreditation, achieved record student enrollment for both spring and fall semesters, and have begun the process for a name change that will better align with our new mission. At the same time, we have all managed to continue with the daily work of educating an increasing number of students in an increasingly impactful way. I am very excited to have our extraordinary Associate Provosts share with you some of the most important activities and initiatives from this past fall semester and to provide you with a glimpse of what is ahead in academic affairs during the coming months. Thank you so much for your commitment to advancing student learning and success, and I wish you all an inspired and rewarding spring semester.
Hello, this is Darlene Dilley, Associate Provost for Enrollment Management, and I'm excited to provide you with some updates on what's happening in enrollment. I'd like to start off with new student enrollment trends. Since 2018, we've seen a steady increase in our freshman application numbers. We partner with EAB for our marketing campaigns, and together with our admissions team, we've continued to generate increased interest in DSU. We've also improved the academic quality of our applicant pool, supporting Goal 1 in the prior strategic plan. We've seen significant increases in our admit and enrolled pools. Despite a global pandemic, we increased enrollment this fall, where many schools around the country saw significant declines. If you break that down further, you can see increases in each of our recruitment markets. We've also seen increases in every category for new transfer students. For international, we did very well fall 20, despite the fact that many students were not able to get visas due to the global pandemic, and we enrolled no exchange students like in prior years. Now, spring enrollment is looking great, but I wanted to jump to fall 2021. We are up in admissions in all groups despite COVID-19. Schools across the country are reporting declines as high as 43% for international, so we are cautiously optimistic. Regarding recruitment, there are several things we are doing to bring in the class, but I wanted to highlight a few. For freshmen, we have streamlined the admissions and scholarship process by eliminating the test score requirement. We've been doing in-person and virtual high school visits throughout the fall. In schools we visit in person, we're seeing much better results than those that are completely shut down, like in California and Nevada. Virtual fatigue has definitely set in. For transfer, we continue to do targeted outreach at Salt Lake Community College and Snow College, where Sarah and her team are also working on articulation agreements, along with College of Southern Nevada. And recently, we've started discussions with Chaffey College in Southern California about potential partnerships. For international, Shadman is working with the U.S. Commercial Service and recently signed 5 new partnership agreements. Also, we've put greater emphasis on domestic recruitment as the global pandemic continues to have a serious impact on our ability to recruit and travel internationally. Lastly, financial aid and scholarships are critical to recruitment and retention. This past year, we awarded nearly $5.5 million and over $2.3 million in CARES funds. There's a lot of work that goes into helping our students make their college education affordable, and they've done a great job. I am so proud of our team, and I appreciate the help and support of our entire campus community. Thank you for your time, and go Trailblazers.
Happy New Year! I'm Nancy Hauk, Associate Provost for Community and Global Engagement. I'm fortunate to lead this great team of directors. Our Community and Global Engagement team has been enthusiastically waiting to celebrate a new year. Here are the departments in Community and Global Engagement. We have over 30 employees and over 100 instructors in our Community Education, Institute for Continued Learning, and Peace Officer Standard Training. I want to thank everyone on our team. Today I'm going to share some highlights for our division and 2 areas I'm working on in the new strategic plan. In fall of 2020, concurrent enrollment increased to over 3,000 students, a record high, and an increased number of concurrent enrollment students finished their general education certificate. At our branch campuses, the Post Academy and CNA programs have the largest student enrollment ever. These students have beautifully persevered through the pandemic to ensure we have police and nurses on the front line. Community Education and Institute for Continued Learning brochures are out and have a new semester of courses starting soon. In Community Engaged Learning, we are excited to implement Strategic Plan Goal 4, Community as University. We are creating a city alliance where DSU will focus on one city in Washington and Kane counties each year. The partner city will identify problems that academic programs across campus can help address. I am happy to report that St. George City will be our first partner. The city has identified 8 problems, and over 30 DSU faculty have agreed to participate and have their students participate in solving these problems. Here is a list of the problems identified by St. George City. Managing city growth, addressing homelessness and mental health, training of city employees, building policing relationships with DSU's police department, filling city personnel needs with internships, fostering community pride and spirit, connecting university and downtown, and collaborating in the use of facilities. High-impact practices are featured in Strategic Plan Goal 1, Academic Distinction. Provost LaCourse formed a High-Impact Practice Council in July and asked me to be the chair. This 18-member council has been very productive. We audited all DSU programs for high-impact practices to learn if we meet the state mandate for universities to require 1 high-impact practice for freshman year and a second in the remainder of the program. We established DSU's high-impact practice categories and made recommendations to offer first-year experience for all freshmen, create work-based learning and internship subcommittee, and focus on high-impact practice access for all students in 2021 and 2022. I want to thank the members of the High Impact Practice Council for their great work. Here's the list of the high impact practices here at DSU. Community and global engagement is an exciting area on campus, and we look forward to a great year. Thank you.
It is an exciting time to be at DSU. We have successfully reaffirmed our accreditation for the next 7 years. We continue to experience enrollment growth even in the dumpster fire that was 2020, and we have the courage to redefine an institutional identity that will allow us to both continue this growth and to promote a more inclusive and welcoming environment. These are important steps as we work toward becoming an open polytechnic university as outlined in the 2020-2025 strategic plan. Now that the plan is underway, administrative oversight for the plan and its successful execution will come from my office. 38 working groups across campus have submitted implementation plans for the various strategies in the strategic plan, and $500,000 in strategic plan funding has been allocated. In the coming months, I will work with these teams to develop measures and appropriate monitoring regimens for the plan as we move forward. Institutional effectiveness's work on measures is certainly not limited to strategic planning. We also continue to evaluate and deploy a simpler and more integrated academic assessment process that will launch in earnest in the fall 2021 term. Our office consolidated the previously disparate roles of assessment, accreditation, strategic planning, and institutional research. Much of the last year has been spent outlining plans and developing this consolidated office. An integrated institutional effectiveness function allows DSU to use data more efficiently, to inform decisions and move the institution forward. In the year ahead, you'll see several new initiatives from my office to promote a stronger data environment. The first of these is data governance. Andrea Bringhurst in my office has a wealth of institutional knowledge and experience that she is using to design and implement a strong data governance framework. An effective data governance program will help enhance data quality and consistency, affirm data integrity, and promote proper data usage. Elements of this program include documenting and creating consistent definitions for data, understanding and working to refine business processes that generate data, and enhancing data literacy across campus. A major initiative that supports data governance is the implementation of a data warehouse. The Education Data Hub consolidates relevant data from the Banner Student Information System, the Canvas Learning Management System, the Slate Enrollment Management System, and other sources to create a centralized data source for reporting and analysis. The Data Hub is currently in the validation process and should be in production in the first quarter of 2021. I would like to thank our colleagues in information technology for helping us deploy this important resource. The third initiative, and one of major importance to the campus community, is the establishment of the Strategic Analytics function. Headed by Dr. Matt Nicodemus, this function uses data from the Education Data Hub and other campus systems to develop effective, repeatable, accessible, and accurate reporting through dashboards, visualizations, and applications. Dashboards and related tools are designed using industry-leading applications such as Tableau and R to make it easier for members of the campus community to access curated and reliable data. We are also focused on making data easier to access and more quickly available. Take the hypothetical example of 20 individual requests asking for enrollment headcount by major. Rather than recreating this wheel 20 times and writing 20 queries, my team can spend time writing one accurate query that retrieves all of the relevant data. A dashboard can then be designed with appropriate filters that allows each of the 20 requesters to narrow the results to only the data that is relevant to them and to access this current, live, and accurate data at any time. Matt, his team, and our office will use this thought process to greatly expand the availability of data while reducing delays across campus in the coming year. Again, I am excited about what the future holds for DSU. I am also excited and grateful that President Williams and our partners across campus have committed to developing a strong, data-informed culture as we move forward. I invite you to reach out to me anytime that you have comments, questions, concerns, or feedback. Thank you.
All right, Trailblazers, we're actually going to run these videos. We have a few academic videos. Our biggest prize, everyone to pay attention now, we have some donated new AirPods. I'm here with the president of the Staff Association, John Gibb. He's our Vanna today. Listen up. This is how you get ready at the clock tower. We have gifts, including these. The first one get John, and then the next 9 are other. Come on down.
Get over here.
Get over here. Real deal, right? These aren't a fake.
They feel good. Come on, hurry quick.
If you're in the hall, in the
Gardner,
in whatever, if really speed, show your spirit. In the meantime, John.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit what's happening with the student association, or the association, things to.
One thing that, well, there's a few things that we always look for. One of them, the students come back, seeing the students on campus. We work really hard. Buildings are ready. A lot of services to get them into the class. Provided support to faculty. We take a lot of pride in that, and we're excited.
Oh, I think we're starting to see. Hold on. There's keep people running. Oh my God! That's a race! Oh my gosh! Yeah, very good. Here we go.
You want to He's the one right there. Mikey.
There we go.
Number 2. 3. Number 4. Number 5.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. So close.
7, 8, 9.
Yes.
Thanks.
Hello, I want to first say thank you all for your efforts in our crazy 2020 year. I think we all did a great job with what we were given, and I am so looking forward to 2021 and working with all of you. And I want to just thank you for all of your support and thank the provost for having us do these for you so that you know what's going on in our areas. I would like to first start with our first initiative, which is going to be career services. Allie Threet has been working tirelessly with Shane Blocker on a new model for our career services. You will see that we do have an ACE Center that is in the College of Business, and these will begin to start popping up within all of our colleges. The next one that we will work with is CSET, and we are looking to eventually have 100% of career coaches within each college. These areas also will be a split between these ACE centers and a career services, as well as getting more employer relations, and also redefining internship and co-op across campus. And working with our deans and working with the provost, we'll be having a career retreat in the end of January to start solidifying what does career services look like on our campus moving forward. So that's very exciting. The second piece that we will be working on is University College. I have been working closely with the provost, and this will start coming through academic council, university council, and eventually go to the Board of Regents so that we can have a university college starting for fall 2021. And this university college will house general studies, general education, all of our students who are exploratory within their majors, as well as University Advisement Center, and we will be redefining structured enrollment. And all of these students will receive intrusive advisement through the University Advisement Center. And we are excited to be able to look toward retaining more students who are considered underprepared and in developmental English and math. The third component that I'd like to talk about is orientation and onboarding. We have a new director, Mark Bagwell, who has come here, and we are excited to have him. And he is revamping our orientation for the summer program, as well as looking at starting a welcome week for all of our incoming freshmen. So what we'd like to do is have all of our incoming freshmen start on Wednesday prior to school starting, and have a welcome week where we can get them involved in all types of student organizations, learn about their deans, learn about their colleges. And so this is a very exciting component, and we've been working really closely with student affairs as well as enrollment management on a onboarding process throughout the summer for these incoming freshmen. So that's exciting. And lastly, I'd like to mention Trailblazer Connections. Trailblazer Connections, working really closely with the deans again, and Jim Hendigas, who is overseeing our Trailblazer Connections courses. And we are hoping and looking forward to a possibility of having all of our incoming freshmen start on Wednesday in a pre-semester, which will be embedded within the meta majors of our colleges. And this will allow faculty to teach about their majors, as well as a full semester long of Trailblazer Connections with academic advisors, administrators, and faculty teaching 15 weeks for 1 hour a week. So there will be a new Trailblazer Connections coming, and we're very excited about that as well for our retention initiatives. So I just want to thank you all for participating in all of our initiatives across campus, and I'm looking forward to 2021 and getting out of 2020. So thank you all, and look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Hello, my name is Bruce Harris, and I'm serving as the Associate Provost of Faculty Affairs. The Office of Faculty Affairs consists of 3 primary areas: Faculty Life, the Center for Teaching and Learning, and Undergraduate Research Office. I would like to share 6 major initiatives and projects that we've recently accomplished and continue to work on. First, promoting active learning, student success, and learning innovation. 78% of faculty members report that they are predominantly using active learning. This last year, 864 faculty and staff members attended CTL workshops and events, and almost $40,000 was awarded in Learning Innovation mini-grants during the last 3 years. Second, supporting faculty and students in pivoting to remote and high-flex teaching in 2020. Last summer, CTL trained over 600 faculty and staff members on high-flex teaching. In collaboration with other organizations on campus, we developed websites and courses to support faculty and students. Third, onboarding new faculty members. During the last 2 years, we developed programs and events for onboarding 66 new full-time faculty members and have taught a 9-month course called AQ to 60 faculty members on teaching effectiveness. Fourth, integrating a new faculty information system. We've integrated a new system called Interfolio. Fifth, the Undergraduate Research Office has established a new research journal, and in less than 2 years it has gone from a local to a national journal. All the editorial staff are students in order to promote active learning. And sixth, The Undergraduate Research Office administered the 4th Annual Regional Research Symposium last April in a virtual format. There were 54 student presentations. We appreciate your support, and please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Pam Cantrell, the Associate Provost for Academic and Budget Planning, and I'm really excited to share with you a few of the highlights of what we've accomplished in this past calendar year. This first slide shows our curriculum updates. You'll notice that we have 10 new degrees, including 3 engineering degrees, 3 new centers, and 26 new certificates. And I really want to acknowledge the work of the UCC and the Academic Council. One of our big accomplishments was the approval of our new Center for Adult and Professional Education. We have a committee that works along with that, and we were right away charged with hiring a new director, which we did a national search and found Chris Guyman, who came to us from the University of Chicago. Just about the same time that Chris arrived on campus, we were notified that we received a grant from the state through CARES money to provide short-term programs for workers displaced by COVID-19. We had 6 weeks to put together short-term programs for these folks. Chris took over that effort, and we leveraged 7 previously approved certificates that included 44 courses. Many entities across campus helped with this, including deans, chairs, faculty, registrar's office, admissions office, business office, UMAC, bookstore, and then our team, Chris, April, Chantel, and Laura. We've just been through a reorganization. Chris was promoted to assistant provost, and he now has responsibility for continuing education, extended learning, and DXL. And we would like to welcome Ryan Hobbs and his team at DXL to our team. The technical part of what we do is reports, 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 and some of you are very well aware of what is involved with those reports, and you see them here on this slide. My very favorite report is the annual departmental report. The provost and I meet with each chair and their dean to debrief their report. And in addition to going over the metrics, we also learn about the incredible accomplishments of faculty and students. Enough so that it just gives me goosebumps. It is really an incredible experience. Our team is very fortunate because we feel consistently that we are perched on the edge of possibility. And the good part is that we get to convert those possibilities into reality. And what could be better than that?
Welcome back. Thank you so much. It is absolutely amazing to hear all of the progress and the exciting things coming up for our academic affairs individuals. We are so lucky to have the team that we do, led by Provost LaCourse. Thank you also for all those who participated in our last game. I wish you could have been out on the encampment mall and seen the mass chaos. We had people running, tripping each other, throwing things, people almost getting run over by golf carts. But you know, the biggest honorable mention goes to Professor Verl Anderson, who was running from the Hazy with great speed, only to be almost taken out by a golf cart with Mikey Nelson. But we didn't say no golf carts. He came from the Browning. Way to go, Mikey. That was pretty dang good. But anyway, it was really fun. So thank you so much for participating, and I'm glad nobody got ran over or is too hurt. Anyway, the next portion of our meeting today will be the question and answer, and we will begin with the questions that we received earlier. But please feel free to add additional questions into the comment section. We'll get to as many of them as we can during the sessions, and then anything we don't get to, we can email later on in the day. We have our esteemed panel here that have been waiting and ready to answer any questions you have. We have President, our Vice Presidents, but we also have, like as we've mentioned, folks waiting in the wings who are experts in their field and can help give further clarity. So we would like to welcome Director of the Health and Wellness Center, Garen Gobranson. Thank you so much. Anyway, our first question is for President Williams. What is being done, President, to protect our family, our faculty, and our staff? We are family here, but yes. Our faculty and staff from COVID-19. And then do we have to pay testing? Is there anything that has to be spent out of pocket is the question.
Great question. So as I mentioned in my introductory comments, we've done a great job. Last semester, we didn't really detect any spread in our classrooms or on our campus. So we'll continue to socially distance, we'll continue to use face masks, we'll continue to follow all precautions with personal hygiene. But it was probably a month ago we were asked to do mandatory testing of students, and so Dr. Gulbranson and others have put together a good plan to test our students, and so they'll be tested more frequently. When the students get back to campus, they'll have a testing period so that we can have a baseline of who's coming back infected or not infected. That will protect our faculty and staff. We also will continue the accommodations through human resources, and we just want to know what we need to do better. I think we did a great job last semester. We appreciate those that had any concerns to send us a quick email and to let us know anything that they might have a concern about. I know I received one from a faculty member, just a quick email that said, hey, I noticed this, can we fix that? And we did right away. So we appreciate feedback. As far as testing goes, so testing for the students, that came from the feds. Basically, they gave the state of Utah a number of free tests, and so their expectation of this rapid testing is that we use those for students. However, we have Test Utah here in town that will test all of you for free. We know Intermountain Healthcare will test you for free the first time, and then they'll bill your insurance the second time. And then if you want to go to Soft Cell, not here on campus, but at their site in the industrial park, they will also test you for your insurance. And so we do have ability to get some free testing.
Awesome, thank you so much. Garen, I don't know if there's anything you want to add, if you feel that that's complete, or...
I would just express an appreciation for faculty and staff. I think it's through no small effort that we were able to not have spread in classrooms, largely part into people's work and efforts into maintaining masks and doing their due diligence in helping students and one another. So I would express my thank you to them.
Okay, great. Well, the next question, Provost LaCourse, this is for you. We had kind of to go along with the same topic. The question is, last semester there were issues with students not wearing masks inside buildings, particularly in common areas, and so maybe some of you might want to weigh in, but what will be done to ensure that students are following the mask policy this spring?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, we had incredibly great compliance, I think, in the classroom. I didn't really hear too many issues where students were not wearing their masks in the classroom, but we did hear some concerns in various buildings. The area that was most, I think where the greatest number of individuals were taking off their masks was in the Holland building. We heard about that fairly frequently. And really it's a staffing issue. We can have our library staff roaming the library, watching for instances where individuals are not wearing the mask, and they did that. But as soon as they would walk away, the mask would come off again. And so really you would almost need to have individuals positioned in various parts of the building on a continuous basis to be able to monitor this. So it was really a staffing issue, inability to place individuals in key locations to monitor that. So with additional funding that we hope to be receiving this spring, the next round of federal funding for the pandemic, part of that money will be allocated to hire individuals in the Holland, and if there are other buildings on campus where we need to monitor more frequently, we'll do that. But we do intend to hire individuals this spring to provide us with the staffing we need to make sure that everybody stays in compliance.
Great. And on that too, just kind of a follow-up question. I don't know for President or Dr. Gulbranson, but when can the faculty and staff receive the COVID-19 vaccine, if we received word on that yet?
Short answer is no. However, this is something that changes daily. As you know, the governor's office is really overseeing this effort. As I mentioned in my introductory comments, we are advocating, the Utah System for Higher Education is advocating. We're trying to get on the list, but it changes daily. I meet once a week with our local health department, and I meet on a larger board for the state, and it is a topic that is consistently brought up, and so there is advocacy going on, but I do believe that the state health department and others are really trying to figure out how to prioritize this, but faculty and staff have been represented, and As we know a little bit more, we'll let you know, but right now we just really don't have an idea. We know right now they're on the first phase with healthcare workers. That should change soon and go on to those that are more at risk, but we'll keep you posted. As I mentioned in my previous comments, please write your local legislators or the legislators or the governor's office and advocate for our staff and faculty, since we are working with these this age group that seems to have a spreading, or people think that they spread it a little faster than others.
So President, you may have answered this already, but there was a follow-up question specifically about if we do get this vaccine for professors and staff, will that also include eventually professors in concurrent enrollment, student teacher supervisors, since they are going out into the high schools?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, the answer to that is yes. Vice President Beatty, let's ask you this next one. Will students who live on campus attend in person be required to be tested? If so, how will that process work?
You know, I've been asked this question a couple of times. Interestingly enough, we can't require them to. We highly encourage our students to do so and send regular reminders. In fact, we sent a letter out yesterday outlining for the students the process for them to be tested and helping them know how to do what the process is for them to do so. One thing that would really help us is for everyone to monitor the students and remind them, and in your classes remind them that free testing is available. And as far as housing goes, I had a great conversation with Seth Gubler last night. You know, all of our housing, the RAs, the student workers, and everyone over there is trained specifically to intervene whenever they see students that are not complying in some way, or if they have questions about it, then they will be able to remind them of what the policy is and what they need to do to be compliant and wearing their masks, and also what kind of the availability is for testing. So we can't require it, but we can encourage it, and that's what we do, and especially have them wear their masks whenever they're in public and in class.
Great. Thank you. Vice President Morris, this question is for you. If we could just have you move that question up. There, thank you. Why is the university, the question is, why is the university interested in building a parking garage? I know that's been mentioned several times in meetings, and the concern is with the onset of electric and autonomous cars, most experts are suggesting that parking garages won't be needed as much as they are now. So I don't know how you might answer that, but yeah, we're all interested to know.
Well, Jordan, that's a great question, and one that makes you pause for just a minute and think about the future. But the reality for us is right now we're focused on 4 surface parking lots that we'll be building over the next couple of years. And once those are done and we've added that 700 plus number of stalls, we eventually will run out of space again, and we'll have to look at alternatives at that point, as our footprint is pretty small, and we will still need to park a growing number of cars. So the parking garage, we'll look at that. At that point, those are fairly expensive. We've tried not to build a parking garage until we definitely had enough demand that we could pay for a parking garage based on the permits. But the reality is we'll watch technology, and if that technology changes and we no longer have need for a parking garage, then we won't build a parking garage. But we'll just have to see how things go as we travel into the future.
Great. Back to kind of COVID and classrooms, there was a specific question for you, Provost LaCourse. Do we need to create a seating chart this semester for contact tracing? I'm glad Garen's still in here. He might need to weigh in on this as well.
Sure. Well, the short answer is yes. We will be doing seating charts again this spring semester. This past fall, we asked faculty to do that, and we didn't really provide any specific template or any type of materials to use to create those. And so as a result of that, and partly that was because there's so many variations in terms of classroom layouts, it would have been difficult to do one template. But this spring, we've got a number of templates that we've created, and we plan to distribute those to all the faculty either later today or as late as Monday, so that every faculty member has a copy of a template. We're going to ask that the name and student number be placed into those templates and the locations where the students are sitting, and then submitting those through your college office. They'll be aggregated and then sent over to Garen and the Wellness Center for their use in contact tracing.
Anything to add on that? We good there? Great. President Williams, why don't we, this is one that came in quite a bit, so we kind of combine these together, of course, is about the name situation.
Sure.
And so they're in essence wondering where are we at in the process, what's next, how will that look at choosing a name if it gets that far? If you could just bring us up to speed on where we're at there.
Sure. Great question, Jordan. That's a question I get daily. So with the renaming, right before winter break, the Board of Trustees, as you know, voted unanimously to forward a recommendation to the State Board of Higher Education to approve a new name for the university. That went forward at the last Regent meeting. They approved that unanimously, and there's an 18 member on that board. That has now been forwarded to the legislature, and so as Henry Walton mentioned, we are now working with the legislature to forward that, to find a sponsor, to forward the recommendation that we change our name. That will happen during this next legislative session, and so we're working with our legislators. I'd encourage you, if you, however you feel, one way or the other, that you write all the legislators and let them know how you feel. We also have a request to the legislature that if they do approve a name for the university, that we'll be allowed to go through a process similar to what we did with identifying Trailblazer as our athletic mascot. And so we would probably hire a firm. We'd work with UMAC. We'd have town hall meetings. We would work with all the staff and faculty to come up with a name that would be fitting for our university in the direction in which we're going. That would be after the legislative session, and then we'd take that name back to the legislature, probably during a special session is our preference, get that approved, and then we'd start the process of rebranding the university. There was another question of, could we consider being Utah State University St. George? That's a question we hear often. What that would entail is us, one, Utah State University wanting to combine with us. I think that would have to have a lot of discussion with all of us on this campus because, as you know, anytime that a university starts to reside with another university, there's less autonomy, and so that's something I think we'd have to have a strategic discussion about. But just becoming Utah State University St. George without working with Utah State, that's probably not a possibility. They have a brand. They want to use that name.
Great. Thank you, President. And again, if there's follow-up questions, type them in. We'll get to them as we go along. Vice President, this is one for you. What is the administration doing to plan and advocate for salary increases during the next fiscal year? And will that include any makeup for the no increase from this past year?
Well, very good question. And as you know, we've been committed to paying our faculty and staff fairly. We've worked hard over the last 4 or 5 years to get everyone's salary up to national benchmarks, but time goes on and those benchmarks change, and we understand that. As far as what we're doing this year, salaries and compensation is the top priority for the Utah system of higher education. And so that top priority, they are advocating for that with the legislature and others. Institutionally, it really comes down to if funds are available and we can fund salary increases at this point. We were saddened when the salary increases that were passed last legislative session were not able to be implemented because of budget cuts, and we did take a $1.1 million budget cut. We're fortunate in that our enrollment growth has offset that budget cut, but basically right now our budget is balanced and flat. So we'll just have to look at the resources in the springtime. In the March timeframe is when we do that and see what resources are available for compensation increases.
Thank you so much for that clarification. So Provost LaCourse, can we do something about course descriptions? This is kind of a long question, so hang with me for just a minute. So can we do something about course descriptions or supplement them somehow? It says, I know they are written more with USHE in mind, but the way they are makes it really hard for students to find what they're looking for based on a name and or course description. Then they give an example. It said, if I were a student, I wanted to take an Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, etc. class, there's no way to know which class to sign up for. And for a lot of those, you have to get bits and pieces from several different classes instead of just taking 1 or 2 credit class or on just the subject. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to throw that over to you and and help us out there.
Yeah, interesting question. In fact, since we had this in advance, we gave it a little bit of thought because actually there's a really good idea, I think, embedded in the question. We're limited to some extent by the software that we use in curriculum and what we're allowed to incorporate in that. But I think there's an interesting idea as part of this question that we're going to pursue. But I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Pam Cantrell, our Associate Provost for Academic and Budget Planning, and she's also our Director of Curriculum and probably can provide a more detailed answer to that question. So, Dr. Cantrell.
This is really a good question, and we always appreciate good ideas that come from members of campus. And the course descriptions indeed do have to satisfy qualifications from external entities. And so you, I'm sure, have noticed that along with the course description are the course learning outcomes. Quite often, the key words that you may be looking for in a course are within those course learning outcomes. Now, we are working on the catalog right now, and one of the features that will be included this next year is actually a search engine. Now, at this point, I do not know if it goes deep enough into the course descriptions, but we work very closely with our provider, which is CourseLeaf, and in the process of continuing to work on the catalog, I will actually take that question directly to them to see if we can get that search engine to go right down into the course description. So hopefully we can have an answer for you, a solution for you with this next catalog.
Great. Great. That's awesome. Isn't that great? We get good ideas from everyone and improve things the best we can. So this will be the last question of this session. Again, we'll have one more session, so keep the questions coming. But Vice President Morris will have you answer this last one. It says, are we going to get the option to add more than 2 vehicles to our parking permits? This individual says, I have a large family of 9 with 5 vehicles, and which one of them I'm using depends on the day, and who needs the other specific vehicles for different purposes. I think I can relate to that sometimes. I have been buying 2 passes for many years, but it would be nice if they could move that around, I guess is the question.
Sure. Well, one thing that might help with that is, and you may know this or you may not, but we don't charge to transfer the parking pass from one car to another. So hopefully that might help you to some extent, but your problem is probably a little bit bigger than that. But I'll talk to our parking services people and we'll look at how many are in that situation. We can find that out by how many folks are buying more than one pass, and we'll look at the number of people who need this and take a look at some pricing and see what we can work out. But we'll give you more on that at a future time.
Great. All right, we'll close up the questions at this time. Thank you so much for all those who participated. And again, we'll have one more of these question and answer sessions. I want to clarify a little bit. We understand that the roving camera that's going around campus has had a little bit of some technical difficulties. We apologize for that. Some people are hearing it and others aren't, but we do have a great group out there trying to include you in what we're doing, and this will be one more of those opportunities. But in case you didn't know what happened last time, because some were saying, what happened? We weren't able to see it. We just invited people to come out. First one that came to us got the AirPods, and that's what happened on the last one, which was really fun for those involved. And anyway, we apologize for any tech problems that we're having on that. But we would like to do another giveaway at this point. The winner of this will win an Instant Pot, not Instapot, not Instant Pot. That's a totally different thing, but an Instapot. But whoever wins it, everyone around them, the 5 offices around them, will also get a swag bag. So we're going to go hunt you down. We'll give you the Instapot, and then some of your closest friends and neighbors will get a prize as well. So Vice President Morris, we're going to have you do the honors on this one. He drew a name out earlier today, and if you could read us the name right now.
All right, so this is a quiz. Who gave me and President Williams a knitted bison, white bison? It's Roberta Cole, and she also won the gift.
All right. Great. She is... Okay, we apologize. The Zoom is not working at the moment, but congratulations. She is definitely very worthy of that. If you haven't seen her hand knitted white bison, they're pretty dang cool. There's one in President's office and Paul's. So next we will hear about student affairs with Vice President Beatty. But first let's learn a little bit more about Dell. So Dell is a Washington County native, grew up in Hurricane, where he's currently building a new home out there, going back to his roots. His favorite song is Copacabana, and you can hear him singing or humming it at any given time. And if you haven't heard it, just ask him. He would love to share that with you. He enjoys scaring people in their offices. I'm sure many of you have been a part of that. He calls them a BAM, and so watch out for those. But his very favorite thing to do, of all the things he gets to do at Dixie State, is talking to students' parents about their children's roommate problems. And he's become quite expert in that. So we will now hear from Vice President Beatty.
Dixie State embodies active learning, active life by creating environments that celebrate education inside and outside the classroom, on and off campus. The Division of Student Affairs is committed to the delivery of services, programs, and experiences that enhance student learning and support our institutional mission. Our dedicated team of employees works in partnership with faculty and staff from across campus to provide a learning experience that fulfills the trailblazing spirit and vision of our institution's founders. Students are the center of our work, and I'm certain you've recognized that they are often the ones to initiate, plan, and implement many of our most successful events. DSUSA President Penny Mills and her incredible team of student leaders have been resilient as they took hit after hit but never gave up. They continued to plan events that were COVID compliant even when almost every other institution in Utah put a hard stop to nearly all social engagement. DSUSA hosted events like bingo, drive-in movies, and even partnered with Campus Rec Services and the HPC for a dive-in movie. Programs and experiences within Student Affairs are intentionally designed to help students weave co-curricular experiences into their education as they seek meaning and purpose in their lives and identify available campus resources along the way. Student Affairs is committed to fostering a positive campus climate, building a sense of community, and providing essential support for our students. In addition to my responsibilities as Dean of Students, I've had the opportunity to serve as the interim VP for the past 6 months. During this period, Student Affairs also experienced a slight structural change. We will always treasure memories with our colleagues from Student Success, Career Services, Admissions, Enrollment, Registration, Financial Aid, and others who were formerly part of our team. We remain optimistic about the positive changes this restructuring will provide our students, and I'm personally very supportive of the decision and the direction that we are headed. The reorganization allows our division to become even more laser-focused and proactive in helping students connect to the institution, achieve the life balance they are longing for, identify necessary wraparound services to help them remain in school, and also permit us to stay ahead of major issues and challenges our students may face. Some of these issues include food insecurity, mental and emotional health emergencies, family challenges, financial hurdles, behavioral concerns, and other obstacles. We will continue our work with specific demographics and populations of students through the variety of offices and talented employees in the Multicultural and Inclusion, LGBTQ, Veterans Resource, and Disability Resource Centers. Simultaneously, we will work to provide events, engagement opportunities, and representation for all students through DSUSA, campus recreation, aquatics, outdoor recreation, intramurals, group fitness, the testing center, student involvement and leadership, Raging Red, and the providing of medical and mental health services at the Booth Wellness Center. For many students, the departments within Student Affairs are not just an aspect of their higher education, but the glue that helps them find their connection and a place to belong. I want to quickly highlight a few departments, events, and people in our division. I'm calling this personal and professional points of pride, or in other words, pandemic positives. So I'm going to begin today with student involvement and leadership. The student involvement and leadership team confronted the pandemic challenge by staying the course in their guidance of DSUSA student leaders. They didn't give the student leaders an option of giving up and made certain that messaging, social connection, and engagement remained constant. The entire student involvement team was stellar, but I want to especially recognize Annalie Adams, who helped our leaders grow the number of student clubs, organize multiple service projects, sponsor food drives, plan alternative break service trips, and continually stock and monitor the student food pantry. COVID did not derail the growth of our Campus Rec service programs either. This past semester, we had our largest number of intramural teams, saw expanded campus collaborations through the introduction of new activities, continued student participation in fitness classes, and helped our students remain active and socialize within the confines of coronavirus. This next semester, you can expect continued creativity and expanded opportunities for active life from DSU Campus Recreation Services. The Disability Resource Center rose to the challenge of providing students with needed accommodations online. I want to especially recognize Beverly Clark for her diligence in following protocols, maintaining safety, assuring confidentiality, and supporting our students as we moved to online accommodations. In the future, we can anticipate that online accommodations will become common and will continue as we streamline the process for many of our students who are in need of services from the Disability Resource Center. The Testing Center is proud of the fact that they were able to stay open and quickly pivot to provide tests in formats that were accessible to students. I want to especially recognize the professionalism of the staff in the center who interfaced with faculty to assure tests were available for our students. Praise goes to two outstanding student workers who are both from the School of Education, Paris Feltner and Sarah Bowler. Thank you, ladies, for all that you do to help our testing center function effectively. This has been a tough 9 months for the DSU performance team Raging Red. Last year's team had their trip to New York City unexpectedly canceled at the last minute. And this year, with one of our most talented casts ever, the group has not been able to perform and interact with school and community audiences like they typically would. However, during the pandemic, Raging Red produced 3 music videos, maintained a strong social media presence, and performed content for a 2-hour show. They eagerly await the green light to travel and share their talents again. Director Jeffrey Reynolds wants to recognize 2 incredible students within his program, Sadie Brinkerhoff and Janessa Judkins. These ladies have shown what it means to have grit, and they have been an invaluable asset and example to their fellow performers. You can only imagine how hectic things have been in the Booth Wellness Center since March. When the pandemic began, our prior director had recently resigned, and during the interim period, Jamie Daly and Tasha McNamee didn't miss a beat in steering the ship. I express my deepest appreciation to both of them for their dedication during this time. I also want to recognize Dr. Garen Gulbranson, who came on board as the new director on July 1st. He has been an integral part of Dixie State's response to tracking and maintaining COVID compliance guidelines. Garen, Josh Thane, Travis Rosenberg, and the contact tracers deserve a round of applause. Will you join me? And finally, I can't go without expressing a personal point of pride for my current senior leadership team, Deb Millett, Tasha Toy, and Tom Picklesheimer. They are not only my support network, but dedicated professionals who care for and support Dixie students and the operations within our division. I'm beyond proud of what Student Affairs has done, and I look forward to what will be accomplished down the line. We appreciate your support and feel that even with the challenges we've all experienced, it's a great day to be a trailblazer.
Thank you so much, Vice President Beatty. It is truly awesome to see all the work that's being done, and Student Affairs really is the spirit and the lifeblood of our campus. We're so grateful for all you do to bring that spirit here and increase and improve the lives of our students in so many different ways. We are going to have one more video, a short video about University of Marketing and Communication, and to teach you how we can best help you promote your areas and help you in any way that we can. But first, we have one last drawing. This will be for a Kendall Fire. And actually, we're going to try the camera one more time, see if we can get to the person and show them. But we're going to have Vice President Beatty read this last name and do the honors here.
I almost got a promotion just.
Yeah, you did.
I don't want that job. No, I'm happy to say that we drew the name of O.C. Van Valkenburg from the heating plant. So
All
congratulations
right.
on your award.
Okay, we're going to try to go to the heating plant here.
OC.
Trailblazers, at University Marketing Communication, we are dedicated to promoting and protecting our brand. And we do that best by showing all of the amazing things you are doing to support our students. So in order to do that, we need to know what you're doing. And I'll explain how to let us know what you're doing, what services we provide to help you, and how we can make you look really good. So first, each university has different rules for branding. Some institutions require all departments to use the university communication office for everything, while other universities' central offices don't provide any services or support to individual departments at all. At DSU, we strive to find a more balanced approach. So in short, you can use UMAC services, you can do things on your own, you can use outside groups to help with your marketing needs, or you can simply let us know what you are doing and we'll promote your efforts wherever and whenever we can. All three of these options are easily accessed on our site, umac.dixie.edu. So the most common request we get is to commission UMAC to produce your communication needs. So benefits to this are, my team's really good. They also know the brand standards inside and out. They know the licensing vendors. Our team provides great, consistent material at a fraction of market value. But the best part is we take care of everything. So once we have that clear direction from you regarding content, we're ready to go. The downside is we have a limited staff. We can't control how many requests we get at any given time. So put your orders in as early as possible. So to learn more about our services, go to umac.dixie.edu and click Start a Job. There you will find services for media support, design, photography, videography, facility branding, swag items, and more. Some services are free of charge, others require a minimal fee that goes directly to our internship program and our overall marketing efforts. Most fees are built right into the form, so you can know all the costs up front. Bigger projects, you'll need to submit the information and someone will get back to you with more details on the cost. Often timelines are built right into the form as well. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to give us a call at any time. Second, you can create your own marketing materials as well. But for consistency, clarity, and brand effectiveness, anything made with the university logo must follow two rules. First, follow the branding guide, know the branding guide, and second, when you're done with your project, submit it to UMAC and receive an approval number. You will need this approval number to print anything with our logo. Let me quickly show you how to do that. Go to umac.dixie.edu and familiarize yourself with the branding guide. The guide provides information about our history, our mission, core themes, our values, our key messaging, fonts, logos, standards, writing style guide, more tips than you'll ever need, but it'll help you with your project. Lastly, once you're done, submit the artwork for approval right here, and you will get an approval number within 1 business day. In addition to our services, the website offers many additional resources for you to use, including tips, PowerPoint templates, Zoom backgrounds, logo downloads, our photo database, and more. Lastly, if you are doing great things but don't need anything created, please don't keep it to yourself. If you aren't sure if something is newsworthy or not, just submit the information by using our publicity request form. Depending on the information, we can share your achievements on social media, through one of our publications, through a press release, a press conference, a media advisory, all sorts of ways. We have many channels that we manage and can use. We receive tens of millions of earned advertising dollars through our PR efforts each year, but again, we can't do that if we don't know what's happening out there. So don't be shy and brag about yourself. We also send out a survey each spring to collect information for all of our communication efforts. So department heads, please watch out for that so we can create recognition for all that you do, but more importantly, so we can better promote the school. We find a channel to promote nearly all of the information that we receive. Also, with the potential name change, many have asked if you should be ordering marketing material right now. I would suggest ordering what you need to get through the year, but it might be prudent to forgo any expensive facility branding or big orders until the name situation is decided at the state level. We provided a question and answer session to employees regarding the name change recommendation, and there's a lot of information on our website, but if you have additional questions, we can answer those in the next Q&A session coming up, or you can also call me at any time. We love working with all of you, and we love promoting your efforts, and we love promoting our school. If you have feedback for us to improve, don't hesitate to let me know. So thanks so much for all you do, and go Trailblazers. All right, well, we're about to start our last question and answer. We've had some great questions come in, so we're just going to jump right in. Provost LaCourse, this is for you. Why aren't we meeting the demand for a digital photography degree? Digital photography is in high demand, and there aren't a lot of places offering a quality degree in this field. With the current photography digital imaging degree, we don't offer an in-depth classes with labs and training specific in digital photography.
Well, thanks. That's a great question. As we all know, over the last several years, we've grown significantly in all parts of the institution, and many of our programs are feeling similar types of pressures where the number of students and the interest is exceeding our capacity to provide all the classes, and with increasing numbers of faculty and so forth. So this is an issue that actually impacts a large number of our degree programs. With regard specifically to digital photography, I can tell you that with some funds that became available fairly recently, we're able to actually search for a new faculty member in digital photography. So we approved that earlier this week, and we will launch that search as soon as we possibly can, and with the belief that we'll have somebody in place for next fall, and we'll be able to provide the classwork and expanded enrollments in that program as it grows. So I think we've identified that as an area, as you've said, where there is significant growth.
See how quickly they work? You ask and they're on it, just like that. Vice President Morris, this is for you. Our recent accreditation site visit resulted in a recommendation in the transparency and process of budget planning and support. What changes are planned to facilitate the recommendation?
Great question, Jordan. Bryant Flake and Chantel Owens have been working on this one, and what they've come up with is a new budget process that we'll be unveiling here in the next month or so. But one of the highlights in the new budget process is kicking off the budget process with meetings with the Staff Association and the Faculty Senate to kind of outline the process, to ask for budget request items. And then we'll follow that up on the back end of the budget request with a picture of what resources were available, how those are being spent, and how the budget request items were taken into account. So the idea there is to have kind of a bifold structure for the budget request. One piece of it's through the regular organizational structure that we've done for a long time, and one piece of it is through the Faculty Senate and the Staff Association. And what we're really hoping to do is get everybody more information and have them have more input into the budget.
Great. Thank you so much. We are adding Athletic Director Dr. Booth to the panel. How do we see a schedule of baseball games?
Well, all of our schedules are on our website, dixiestateathletics.com. You can go to navigate to the sport you need. Our baseball schedule specifically is up. If you don't see the 2021 schedule, just go to the top of the screen and select 2021. But as of right now, our 2021 schedule is up, although it is still a little bit tentative. We have maybe some changes coming up, additions, subtractions, etc.
Great. So another question about parking. Vice President Morris, you or any of your folks in the wings could help, but are any of the new parking areas going to have electric plug-ins? And instead of increased parking, what are we doing to emphasize more bicycling, electric scooters, etc.?
Of course, we welcome scooters and bicycles. I think that's apparent from our past partnership with Zagster. Currently, we have the spin contract to have the scooters here on campus, and we are encouraging bus transportation. We do provide the free bus passes to all of our campus community, and we certainly hope people will use those. We're looking at electronic charging stations for electric vehicles, and we'll put some of those in our large, probably most busy parking lots to try to aid folks in moving to that technology. So I think we're moving along as well as we can in I guess to a degree, discouraging cars on campus by providing incentives not to bring one.
Great. President Williams, another question about the name change for you. If the name change goes through, where will the money for rebranding come from, and how will this impact the need for additional faculty?
That's a great question. And so, as we've rebranded in the past, we will ask for a one-time legislative appropriation to help with the funding there. We also had a number of donors that have come forward or have expressed willingness. We have not solidified that because we don't know if it'll be approved or not. But it'll be through fundraising, but probably most likely through a legislative appropriation.
Great. Thank you. Dr. G is back in the house. Welcome. How will you better trace COVID exposure? This person said, I had a number of students in just one class get COVID, and the only way I knew about it was them disclosing it to me themselves.
Thank you for your concern. So we've actually been able to train, and we have some new COVID contact tracing staff we have on board. And we've been tracking closely new protocols, including working with our Southwest Public Health Department and getting information on them, from them on how to proceed with these new changes. One thing is unchanged, however, is when a student does reach out to us who is sick, we will do our case investigation, identify people who have been in close contact and are affected, and we notify those people. Fortunately, if you don't receive notification from us directly, that means you are not a close contact. We are prohibited from sharing personal health information, and that's in regards to HIPAA, and that's in relationship to our state and federal guidelines. So going forward, what we'll continue to do is reach out to folks who are affected immediately. The best thing we can continue to do as faculty and staff is to continue to wear masks, follow protocols and hygiene, and as President mentioned, we've been fortunate that we haven't had any cases in campus in our classroom settings because of diligence from faculty and staff. So we would encourage more of the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much. President Williams, if the institution name does change, can students get a new diploma with the new name on it?
Yes, this is something that we're just beginning to think about. As we are waiting for the Cicero study to come back, we don't want to get the cart before the horse. And so as we've looked at different institutions like the Brigham Young University, Idaho, and other institutions that have gone through this, yes, we'll try to accommodate those that would like to have a new name on their diploma.
Great, thank you. Vice President Morris, for you, a follow-up on salary increases. Will that, from what you stated earlier, will that also include increases for adjunct and part-time instructors?
We'll certainly look at that. We want to bring all salaries up to benchmarks, and for adjuncts, we typically look at benchmarks across the state with our other institutions. And if certainly we're below those benchmarks, we would look to increase those benchmarks for adjuncts.
Great. We'd like to welcome to the panel Associate Vice President Sherry Roosh. A good question here, Sherry. They're asking what sustainable practices, for example, xeriscaping, solar, et cetera, are included in plans for new buildings?
Yes, Dixie State falls under the umbrella of the state of Utah. The state of Utah has what they call a high performance building standard. That standard is quite high. In fact, Utah is number 10 in the nation for building in energy efficient and sustainable buildings. This includes low water use, LED lighting, low power use. In fact, some of our high fees that we pay for building construction have to do with the fact that we do plan according to high energy efficiency and sustainability.
Great, thank you. President Williams, this is one I've seen on social media. This is a good question to address. It says, would the university consider naming the art building after Glenn Blakely? I know that was tough for all of us and
Sure.
means something to many of us. So how do you respond there?
Well, we really appreciate the question. We appreciate the faculty and the staff thinking of Professor Blakely. Before I answer the question, I just want to let you know in your email is a live stream to the funeral. It's limited space, but I'm sure the family would appreciate your support if you can live stream in there. With any building, when we name, we have policies and procedures, of course, to name a building. It has to be approved by the Board of Trustees. We would love to honor Professor Blakely. I think with looking at the North Plaza we're not expecting to have around very often, so very long. I would not suggest that we do that. Our next building priority will be a general classroom building that will also accommodate the art department. And so we'd love to have the conversations on how we could honor Professor Blakely. Looking at, anywhere we can name the ceramics lab, we can name the building. It will take a monetary donation, but we can definitely get our advancement folks to start raising money. He's a beloved professor. He's an icon, not only to our campus, but also to our community. And so there's other ways that we can honor him. We'd love to open up that conversation. And we know that we've honored other faculty with statues. And so I would just welcome the conversation to how best, but I think the North Plaza, with the plan of tearing that down, I think the best option if we want to do a building and raise the funds for the building, I think we go with the new building of the general classroom with the art department in there and really look at what ways can we honor him and ways that will stand for the next 50 years.
Great, thank you. Welcoming to the panel, Associate Provost Vandermark. This is a question that came, I believe, from your video. And so they're asking, did you say that each college will have a career coach, and can we hear more about that?
Eventually, yes, it all comes down to, you like that answer? It all comes down to budget. Right now, we do have an ACE center, which is in the College of Business, and there is a individual that works there for 50% of her time, and she's also in the career services. CSET is going to have their new building, so we do have someone who currently is already working 50% with CSET, but then they'll have an office there as well. And these will hopefully be deployed as 100% once we have more budget and more money and funding. This is going to be talked about in the career retreat that we have with the deans, and hopefully eventually we'll have career coaches within every area, but I would say that's going to take a couple years depending on budget and the need. So definitely this will be coming up. This is an important part of our new strategic plan, especially being polytechnic and being career focused and our active life, active learning. So we definitely want to make this a priority moving forward. So it will happen, just not tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll take this next question. It says, assuming support from the legislature for the name change and approval of a recommended name and a recommend for a name, what might the timeline look like for implementation? I know a few questions have come in on that. So this is a moving target, and so we're going to have to just assume a few things, but I'll give you some examples. And I've provided this to a few others. President mentioned the Trailblazer identity. That took about a year of gathering information and looking at all possibilities. And as you can imagine, you have to vet each name for everything from trademark to other schools to issues that could possibly arise and a myriad of things. Now, having said that, this would not take a year, and the reason it would not is there's a lot less options. For a mascot, there's literally tens of thousands of options you can look at. For a school, and I've shared this before, it really boils down to three. Most schools fall into three brand type name categories. A geographical name, which tells where you're at, like Southern Utah University. A descriptive name that tells what type of school you are, like Texas Tech. Or you can also have a founder name, like Duke University, named after Duke. So for us, there's not a lot of names meet that criteria. Having said that, to go back to your timeline question, again, this is a moving target, and let's just assume a few things. Let's assume that it goes through. We won't be attaching to a name to it now, so what they would approve is to seek a new name. At that point, depending on when they would like to receive that new name, they might have a special session in the summer. So the legislators could say, bring us a name by our session in the summer. It could be, bring us a name next year at this time. So I would say, again, assuming that it goes through, it could be by this summer we would have a name, or it could be a year from now when the new legislative session comes in. Now quickly, I'll just say when and if that begins, we have done this before. We know how to do it, and I am confident that we will be able to do it again in a systematic and effective way. We will include all of you, and there will be lots of opinions and lots of examples and thoughts and ideas, and we will welcome all of them. And we will bring you into that timeline should and if that be the case. So I hope that helps answer that a little bit. All right, the next question is for Associate Provost Cantrell. Are the DSU department records available for all faculty and staff to see?
I think that was for the annual reports, perhaps. And those annual reports indeed are online already, but they're not available to everyone. They were available to our accreditors. It won't take anything at all for us to move them over to the annual reporting tab on the academic page. So give us a week or so, and we can get those moved over there, and they can be available to you all.
Great. Thank you very much. President Williams, back to you. How is the university planning to address housing costs for faculty going forward, faculty and staff? Affordable housing complex for faculty might be great. That's something other schools have done. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, this has been a topic for the last 7 years that I've been here. And if you even look 3 or 4 years ago, the availability of apartments and townhomes and affordable housing was pretty bleak. But I think our community partners, our local developers, the local cities have done a good job. If you drive around our county, you'll see that hundreds and hundreds of units have been built. And so I think expressing our need to the county commissioners, to the local mayors, has really allowed us to start the conversation. I know Shirlene Quell with the city, part of her job assignment is to have affordable housing. And so I think we are doing that. We'll continue to have those conversations. Right now, looking at our priorities with adding programs and faculty and staff, I don't foresee that the university will be building housing for faculty in the near future, but we'll definitely be partnering with our friends in the cities and in the county.
Great. Welcome back, Dr. Booth. Quick question for you. Can you give us an update on fan crowd sizes for upcoming athletic events?
Well, we are at the whim of a virus that just doesn't care about fan attendance, unfortunately, but we do very deeply. So we've tried with basketball to limit it to about 1,000, about 25%, and so we're going to move forward with that at our other venues. Now, keep in mind, our venues are varying from outdoors to indoors to big to small. So it won't be uniform across. Like, we won't be able to allow the same number to softball as we will to football. The venues are just so different. So just bear with us, and as we'll be doing as best we can based on how the virus allows us to.
Great. A few more questions. We appreciate all the questions coming in. We have a few more. We'll try to, time's running short, so we'll try to be quick here. Vice President Morris, are you able to provide anticipated timeline for the new parking at Atwood Innovation Plaza?
Actually, that was scheduled last summer, but COVID got in the way, and some of our resources didn't allow that. But we're hopeful not this summer, but the next summer we'll be able to do that project.
Great. Another question similar to some past ones here, Provost LaCourse. What is being done to support part-time instructors, adjuncts? For example, they have had no raises for 4 years, little training, little office space, things like that. How can we answer that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and in fact, it's something that we're addressing immediately. I've identified within academic administration 2 major priorities for the spring, summer for me, and one of those was mentioned earlier. It's about building out our career development and readiness strategy. That's part of the Polytechnic theme. The second, however, is focused squarely on our part-time faculty. So I've asked Associate Provost Bruce Harris to take the lead on this and to put together a task force that will begin meeting fairly soon to be looking at all of the sort of recruitment and support compensation pieces related to part-time faculty. As we grow from 12,000 to 16,000 students over the next 5 years, my estimate, which is a rough estimate, is that we'll probably need somewhere between 200 to 250 more part-time faculty to be able to support that growth. And there are lots of challenges associated with hiring and supporting that many new people, but that's why we've identified the need to have a task force this spring working on it. So I don't have all the answers to your questions, but I can tell you that we've got a process that will get underway here fairly soon.
Great, thank you so much. Welcome back, Associate Vice President Sherry Rouge. Can you talk a little bit about building air ventilations?
Yes, I'm going to kind of guess what the asker is wanting to hear about. Yes, yeah. Okay. Depending on different building spaces, such as gymnasium space versus classroom space versus lab space, each of those different spaces have actual different ventilation requirements. We meet those by code. So such as a gym space will have a lot more what we call air change, where the outside air and the inside air changes out more often than a classroom. Lab spaces have very high requirements for ventilation changes, and so we meet all of those requirements, but a lot of times we'll get calls about uncomfortable air, such as too hot, too cold, and in our hot environment where we're more cooling than heating, that does cause a problem because we're bringing in a lot of outside air in a lab where, so it might be warmer in that lab than we really want it to be, and still meet, once again, back to the energy code and ventilation codes, trying to keep the spaces healthy. There's things like Legionnaire's disease and things that can happen with improper ventilation. So, we do meet all of those codes, trying to meet all of the individual requirements for, temperatures, and that is difficult. We get a lot of work orders and complaints about that. We do our very best to do what we can. And, if you have questions about your individual spaces, please send me an email. I will get the answer for you from our energy person that works here for us on campus. So,
great.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much. Isn't it nice to have all these experts on campus? I get these tough questions, I get to just pass them on. We have time for one last question. President will send this to you, but obviously if anyone else has information on this, I think this is a great question. It says, what programming and activities do we anticipate being housed at the Desert Color property if that is secured?
That's a great question. So let me just give you an update on the Desert Color property. So last year we were allocated $15 million for 184 acres. We were really pleased with the advocacy from our local legislators. Those funds went away. We feel very optimistic that we'll receive those this next year. And so we were pleased that the Speaker of the House, we were asking for a $10 million project with 126 acres. They saw the need that we needed actually more. So we had that 184 acres. What will take place is once we secure the funding and we secure the property, we'll go through a campus master planning process similar to what we do for this campus. And we'll identify what are the types of programs and what needs to be out there versus here on our campus. And so we'll revise our current master plan and also include that 186 acres in there. And so we'll involve the entire campus as we do in the other master campus planning processes and make sure that you have input there.
Well, that's all we have time for as far as questions go, but we're so grateful for all the many questions and the participation we've received today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all you do for Dixie State. It is a pleasure working with each one of you. We will turn the remainder of the time over to President Williams.
Once again, thank you for all those that gave presentations. As you can tell, there's just a lot of work that's happening on our campus. We can't thank all of them enough and all of you for your hard work. This is going to be a great semester. We're excited. We're excited to welcome the students back on Monday. We want to leave you with one last video. It's a thank you video, but before we do that, we have one last giveaway. And I think this, for the physically active, this will be a fun one. This is a Trailblazer basket. It will have pickleball equipment, so you know that Dean Pedersen is probably getting ready wherever he is. It has a Fitbit and other physically active devices in that basket. And so right before the video, the first person that will take a photo with Dr. Jordan Sharp on campus and email me at president@dixie.edu, you will get this basket. So again, find Dr. Sharp, get a picture, and email me at president@dixie.edu. He's a little mad because he put somebody else's name and everybody worked behind the scenes to get him. So once again, thank you everybody for participating today. We hope you have a wonderful semester, and go Trailblazers.
You're the engine that makes all things go, and you're always in disguise, my hero. I see your light in the dark, smile in my face when we all know it's hard. There's no way to ever pay you back. Bless your heart, no, I love you for that. Honest and selfless, I don't know if this helps it, but good job. You're doing a good job,